There it is. Wait a minute, let's center it this way. Oh no. Oh no. This is Kal Kat, the Kal Kat's turn. This is a review of The Fifth Wave, the latest young adult fiction movie, science fiction thriller starring Chloe Grace Moretz and a bunch of unknown actors and some known ones. The Fifth Wave. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was definitely silly. Yeah, look at that. It's probably the type of story I would have written when I was like a teenager. I would have been like, oh, yeah, the aliens would totally be in their heads and there'd be like video game stuff and yeah, there'd be love interest and stuff and yeah, that would work too. And yeah, I do still kind of do stuff like that, but it's a little more refined. This is not something I would write. This is something I would have written back in 86, 87, somewhere other. It's, well, it is silly. The premise of the story is that this alien invasion from the others, as they call them, comes over Ohio and attacks this normal town. Debbie Groban's friend compared this to Red Dawn. Not so much. If they mean there were guys running around in the woods with guns, that's kind of similar. Fighting an army, kind of similar. I'd say it's more like Ender's Game crossed with The Maze Runner, which is probably not a good idea. The Ender's Game part of it involves the children being selected by the military after they attack to go and serve on a base and train them to fight the others and wear these X-ray goggles that allows them to see the aliens, and there's a twist in there and all that. Since the movie's got 19% of Rotten Tomatoes, there will be spoilers in this review. Like, yeah, why not? It goes by the numbers in terms of its alien invasion theories and stuff like that. It doesn't do anything that isn't really, really predictable. Even if you've seen random episodes of the X-Files, it should totally occur to you what's going on immediately. Chloe Moritz's family is originally separated when the aliens attack, and her little brother is taken on a bus, and he wants his teddy bear, so she goes back for the teddy bear and is left behind, which is odd. But somehow she survives. As the little boy is taken to the base, where sinister things happen to the little boy and other members of the class, of the school class, when they go over to the base. You get the feeling immediately, okay, how come the base has working vehicles when the aliens have taken... Well, I should explain first of all that the aliens launch all kinds of attacks. They launch an EMP that destroys all power and allegedly defeats all the vehicles. Ergo, the military somehow has working vehicles at some point. There's a guy named Zombie in it. Because why not? There's a goth chick in it, of course, who is tough as nails, a la Resident Evil. It's got just about every kind of stereotype. It's got the blonde cheerleader type of girl that Carl Moritz is playing. I think this is part one. I didn't read the book, so I don't know the book series as well as, say, the Hunger Games or the Maze Runner. Of the Maze Runner, of which I've only actually gone over the first two, so up until the Scorch Trials. I haven't done the third one yet. So, and as for the Divergent Saga, I've only read synopsises of that, and yes, you have to walk a thin line between what is considered a good story idea and what is considered silly or what is considered campy, what is considered too dark or mildly offensive, or what's considered acceptable. And that thin line is often blurred with Chloe Moritz or something. Is going to seem like it's more for kids than for adults, young adults. And it's not something to overanalyze, but it is interesting that the young adult media idea of that has been recycled so much that we don't even, that even they recognized that it was silly. The other older generation really recognized it because they were like, hey, this whole premise has been done so many times, it's ridiculous. And then my generation was like, yeah, and I know the times that that was ridiculous, here they are, here's when they came out. Yeah, I totally recognize that. I know what they were trying to do, they just didn't do it efficiently. I know they were trying to make this the next Hunger Games, but it isn't. Because even though the Hunger Games was kind of I guess you would say, and I know the Hunger Games fans are going to complain. They're going to say, no, it wasn't Battle Royale. But actually, no, it was a nice version of Battle Royale. It was a version of Battle Royale where they took out all of the other darker elements and kind of just made it, I mean, there were darker elements in it. But Battle Royale was brutal. And Hunger Games had brutal elements, but it wasn't as brutal. So, if you see Battle Royale in the book, especially the manga, it's messed up. This movie was trying very hard to be like a tough as nails Ender's Game / Community. There's a TV show called Community. Haven't seen, but I've heard about it. Colony type of thing. You know, the colonies are in, so we have like colonies, things, and zombie plagues and whatever. There were no zombies in this, but it was the same idea. A bunch of people are trying to be survivors. A lot of that theme last year and this year, early this year, and it's like, yeah, a lot of that. So I get that, but this movie's not going to win any awards. It's not the Hunger Games material. This is not going to be Chloe Moritz's breakout movie. I think that was probably Kick-Ass. That was her breakout movie. Not so much the sequel, the first one. But yeah, and maybe Hugo. But so yeah, the director probably just figured, I'm going to go here, do this, and yeah, it'll be the next big thing. But even the book wasn't really. There were some young adults that were walking out of the theater. Yeah, the book wasn't that good. Why'd they make a movie out of this? So it's like, yeah, even if their target audience didn't think it was all that great, why did they make a movie? Just to make money? Because they could have polished that script and made it better than the book. I mean, you could have totally done it. There are so many ways they could have made this movie better. They could have either played up the camp or played up the darkness and made it a little darker, more twisted. Because they kind of were hinting at the darkness. I mean, the main adult cast gets like whacked earlier on. It's like, so they should have decided, okay, let's make this all about the military group. Let's have Maritz's character not in the story at all, because really what she's doing, recovering and stuff, just isn't, Okay, Chloe Moritz, back to the cheerleader part. She's sort of a soccer player, actually. She's supposed to be the heroine in the story, but she is no Jovovich from Resident Evil. She's not anything, or even, she certainly isn't Sigourney Weaver. She certainly isn't that type of character. She certainly isn't anything like that. She's much too girly in this movie, and although she's played action hero, she played Hit Girl. Yeah, I just didn't really buy her able to survive for that long out there. The adults are rounded up by the military, and apparently there's a gunfight in the lodge, and they all get shot. So Chloe Moritz is on her own, and the boy is at the training place, and they cut back to the people at the training place, which is like the Ender's Game, and several other things. Not so much like Red Dawn. If they mean they're just like running around, okay, why not? But this, and Chloe Moritz is eventually like shot on a freeway and rescued by a mysterious man. And it's like, oh, this is so obvious what's going on here. The reason the aliens haven't killed her yet and like drag her over this, they want something from her, clearly. Or she might be one of them. Or the dude wants to procreate with her, which is kind of creepy, kind of like Alien. Now, had they gone that direction, that would have been interesting. But they only implied it. No, I don't think he's actually impregnated her, because that would be stupid. That would be bring a baby into the sequel, and that would be, yeah, really dumb. I don't think they're going to do that. But he does have sex with her apparently in this abandoned car. Yeah, it's like the they don't really show anything. It's very PG, that part. They kiss and then the lights go down. Yeah. Like the part I mentioned, the part about the diary, the journal, or they could say journal, I guess. But it's like, yeah, this creepy guy, like, hide your gun and whatever. This creepy guy, like, lets you, like, you recover in his house and stuff, and he keeps sneaking in and out, stuff, or going in and out, and he's watching you, and you're, like, half dead or whatever. It's like, what was if his motivation was to, like, make her recover so she'd fall in love with him, like Beauty and the Beast, then that's kind of a dumb motivation. He could have picked anybody. Why her? It's like, I'm not buying that he, like, falls in love, because that doesn't make sense. Because, like, even the Beast is motivated. Even in the original Beauty and the Beast concept, he has to fall in love because the Enchantress makes him do it. So he has to, like, how do you force love? That's kind of a messed up thing. And he essentially gives her Stockholm Syndrome by holding her captive. In this one, too. So if she doesn't really love him, she kind of has Stockholm Syndrome, which is which is a concept about, well, like a captor captures you and then you feel sorry for them. Yeah, that's a concept in psychology. And that's what Belle has in Beauty and the Beast in the cartoon, and that isn't so much in the live action one from the 80s. In that one, Linda Hamilton's character can leave the sewer. She actually does fall in love with the Beast, Vincent, and Ron Perlman. And you know, back in the day, you know, he was a cat, so he was like a Thundercat. He was like Lion-O, so, you know, gotta watch it. We made fun of it too, but yeah, and it always irked the B&B fans when we were at conventions making fun of their beloved show. But it was like it needed to be made fun of. It was you know, if you can't laugh at the stuff you do, then you can't laugh at it. And I wanted to see it, so I went to see it, and it's not as bad as they said it was, but it's not great either. I'm not going to say that it was good. No, the plot was really predictable, and the story and the pacing was ridiculous. There were two movies going on, as they said. There's the sort of Red Dawn / trickery thing going on. There's the remake of Red Dawn, not the good 1980s one. The remake, which is crap, and and the Ender's Game type of thing, like the reveal of which one's the good guy and the bad guy, and which one's switched over, and then you know, deciding to do the thing, the tracking thing, which was stolen from Maze Runner, and the Host. Actually, quite a lot of this seems like the Host. And the Host wasn't very good. Don't bother with that one. That's from the same lady that did the Twilight. Yeah. And then she's really the alien. I thought they were going to actually do that and have her be an alien. But they didn't. No, she's the vessel for the alien, like, mouthpiece for the aliens. Or, I guess, no. So, yeah, once the aliens are clearly overpowering everybody and they're a metaphor for something, such as becoming an adulthood. Often the mysterious alien entity out there is adulthood. I've been over that with comic book reviews and stuff like that. As well, is that in the case of the X-Men, the mutants represent teen angst. As teenagers grow older, they start to become adults, and then they feel out of place and disenfranchised and whatever on that. That idea of these different humans that are different from us, that are out there, that's what they relate to, and that's why they like mutants, that kind of thing. It was often discussed with the Marvel and DC world as well. Superheroes are often a fantastical way to say, okay, well, there's a superhero that can actually beat the odds. That he's a superhero. He's got powers. Go in and beat the odds. And that's a very comic booky thing too. So yeah, the movie, the whole idea that the hot guy who really can't act at all, and Chloe Moretz is trying her darndest to go through cheesy dialogue. I can tell she's a better actress than this, which is kind of annoying in the story because she's been in other movies where she did fine. But it's like yeah, I can tell that the dialogue here is like, I'm trying to say these lines that don't make sense for my character to say, but I'm gonna say them anyway. Like, you took my journal. Okay, first of all, she's a teenage girl in 2015. It's still called a diary, not a journal or a blog. It's not called a journal. That's what a boy diary is. They're gonna call it a diary. My diary. Sorry. And it would be online, not on a notebook. But yeah, but yeah, still called a diary. You know, so yeah, these apocalyptic things seem to imply that the aliens, the adulthood of the aliens, is so overpowering that it basically stymies all the teenagers, so they're stuck with their, either following the orders from the military group, following the adults, or they're not going to be mature enough or something, or following the mysterious Han Solo type man or woman. Okay. Yeah, and it's like that's with that fits right there. Even fairy tales were about that. What is Beauty and the Beast about? If you think about it, what's Beauty and the Beast about? It's about this the original concept of that as a fairy tale was the like many other fairy tales of a princess, young princess must find Prince Charming and follow the status quo, and, but no, she's a commoner. She cannot have the prince. She must have very, very chivalric type of. We don't do that so much anymore. Now it's like, oh, find the hunky guy. Same idea. She goes to find the hunky guy. And it's like, it's Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, though, was a little different in that the concept there, which they got wrong with Beastly, that young adult remake, was that the Beast basically represents the girl coming to womanhood and discovering the beastly man is a beast, in such as that is. That's what's going on. He's not really a beast. He's not literally a beast. It's just that he is, to her, like that. And now in the modern cartoon version, he's a literal beast that he's kind of a jerk. And in the original Grimm Tales and in Christian Andersen Tales, earlier fairy tale version, he's a beast. But in the version that a lot of my generation grew up with was the TV show Beauty and the Beast, Ron Perlman and the Terminator. And in that one, the Beast is actually a nice guy. He just looks like a beast. He's a nice guy, and he's just been shunned by society. He's living this mysterious life in the sewers. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, and she's So there we go. So he's actually a good guy in that version. So this guy in the movie, it all ties in. This guy in the movie is basically in Fifth Wave is basically the Beast, and he has taken in the girl who was Belle, and he is basically trying to he saves her. But what are his motivations? If his motivation is to keep her around so that he can procreate in some way or pass on the alien, they say the alien, they imply that she's going to get pregnant, which is dumb. I hope they don't do that. But if they do, then he is essentially the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and it's essentially sort of a remake of that. But it's also any number of those other stories. It's also in some ways Twilight, because in Twilight, Bella, that's also Beauty and the Beast. Bella, and then the vampire hookup. So, yeah, so it's like the Beast. Oh, so it's this whole thing, and it's odd in 2015 that they even have that sort of element, because the bad boy is kind of a passé thing. It's still kind of around, but kind of not. And young adults are much savvier than they were in my generation. they know that stuff off the top of their head because the internet, social media, and they would read that and they would go like, "Wait a second, okay, this we don't get this." So it's just why the young adults watching this movie who are sitting behind me were like, okay, are they just trying to rip off Twilight right here? They're just going to show the guy's rippling chest just to show it, whatever, you know. He was like, or is he like, you know, a dangerous beast guy or whatever? And it's like, yeah, they were, I didn't know them, but they were in the theater, and they were basically commenting on the whole movie as being silly, which I thought was like, there just wasn't, and then you got the Debbie Grubbin, who's another generation removed from mine, you know. In a sense, the aliens don't kill her. And that's just kind of stupid that they wouldn't. It's like, okay, yeah, she's obviously able to defeat your base with help from her buddies. So I think you should probably go after her, aliens. But, yeah. So I'm giving away stuff, but yeah, it's very predictable. It's exactly the ending. The ending is taken right from the ending of The Maze Runner. And somewhat the ending of Allegiant as well, the Divergent saga. Yeah, I haven't done the reviews of those movies yet, but yeah, this is just kind of a mess. There's a little Resident Evil in it too. The whole trick that they pull on the kids, they make them see these like images of the alien and the head so they can go fight the alien, and it's like, well, first of all, if they're impressionable teenagers and they played nothing but video games, not saying video games are bad, but I'm saying they would be impressionable because of this. So the ones that would shoot the guy, even if he had the alien target or not, would just do it because they don't have any qualms about it. Like, video game, can't trust anybody. It's like, yeah, they could have probably fixed that, but they kind of didn't. And like, this doesn't faze her. She's just sort of creeped out by it. It's like, nah, she would have blown him away. She would have been like, damn it. But yeah, it's like, oh, some of this just doesn't make any logical sense unless just for no reason she likes this mysterious guy for fixing her leg, which would have gone gangrenous and fallen off at some point. But yeah, how did they didn't explain how he knew any medical technology. And the whole reason for like even kissing him later on, which was just, yeah, not because it was Chloe Moritz kissing a guy, but because everybody could tell he's obviously the bad guy. It's like, okay, yeah, even before the attack happens later, it's like everybody in the theater was like, is he the alien? Is he the alien? Is he the alien? Saying that over and over again. And I was all, yes, he's the alien. I haven't seen it, but I'm totally guessing that he's the alien too. Yeah, maybe she's an alien, as someone else suggested. But yeah, well, he was sort of he's a slightly different alien than the other ones. They never actually reveal what the aliens actually look like. They reveal what they look like to the visor people, through the visor, the military people, who are clearly in on the whole thing, because why else would they have a base and military stuff? Which also begs the question, if their technology is that advanced, why do the whole charade of the base thing and make the children fight for them and stuff? If they're like sleeper cell agent alien things, just kill everybody. Yeah, you're the alien race trying to invade the Earth, just destroy everything. It's like the first law of colonization in an alien story: destroy everything. Yeah, it's gonna have spoilers right away because it's gonna, and and in order to even explain the plot, which is a disjointed mess, gotta have spoilers. So it does. It has. But yeah, I think the idea here was they were trying to make Chloe Moritz, given a Hunger Games type story, and threw her into it. Like, she just grabbed the story, or her agent did, and said, oh yeah, this will make you as popular as that Jennifer Lawrence one, right? Or that Twilight one, right? Well, no, because the Twilight saga, although it's a really badly written book series and the movies are really boring, it's intensely popular. It was intensely popular before they shot it on film. So yeah, this one's not so much. This is like the upteenth version of alien invasion. Things are happening. The adults have taken over the post-apocalyptic world type of thing, going on or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like the post-apocalyptic deal. This is like a beginning of that apocalypse, and in that story, it's not done because there are plenty of new generations of the younger sisters and brothers of the people who watched a lot of the Summit movies, like Twilight, that are like just introduced to these new movies, so they're going to go out and see them. So it's not in any danger of ending anytime soon. So. Yeah, the Alien movie, The Fifth Wave. Is it, as another science fiction person, does this make sense? No, it doesn't, because I could tell all the beats that were happening. And any science fiction fan could tell, and young A fiction could also tell. It ain't that hard to figure this out. I think that was one of the main problems with it is probably a 10-year-old could figure out what was going on, the twists and this stuff. And of course, the chiseled guy's got to take his shirt off at some point and go swimming in the river. Of course, because teen girl thing. And surprisingly, the audience was a lot of young adult fiction, but not a very big audience, but fairly, I guess it's fairly crowded for this showing. And even they were like just kind of squeamish. They weren't excited by it. They're just, oh, there he is with his shirt off. Yeah. We were kind of squeamish about it because everybody could tell he was going to be the turncoat later on, and so were all the other ones. And then the kids at the base figure out the big twist with the visors, but the audience knew from literally the moment that the evil nurse chick goes, see, it's an alien in here. Like, it's fake. Somebody in the background, like it's a trick. They're doing that to like trick them. Because they're really, because it's coming from a mile away. They still didn't explain what the aliens' motivation was for taking over the Earth. They just said, oh, they need the planet or whatever. The father says that before he dies. But it's like, what is going on? And so this movie was like kind of like making fun of the movie during the movie, and the young adults were too. And it was like this movie needed to, if it was going to take itself seriously, it needed to take itself seriously. If it was going to be camp, it should have been camp. They should have been like, if they were going to take it to this whole like, make the girl recover so she likes you, and make this big spiel, and then let's go to the base, even though that doesn't really make any sense. I know she had to rescue the brother, but how does she even know he's there? It's like, he tries to convince her she's not. I'm like, what? And then he is, and then they go to rescue him. How did she defeat the nurse lady and all the guards? She only had rudimentary training from her dad and then the alien. It's like the guy that she didn't think was an alien. Is she an alien? Because that's the only thing that makes sense, is the aliens are not trying to kill her because she's one of them. Now that would be an interesting twist. She was actually in on it. That's the only thing that makes sense. If she's also a sleeper agent, then it's like, oh, okay, so she's... Oh, then it would make sense. But yeah, there's a mess. And they should have gone with the campy, dumb stuff. They should have just said, okay, this is Battle LA, but in rural somewhere. Battle LA crossed with Red Dawn, and we're just going to go all out, have a base fight, cross with Resident Evil, cross with numerous other things, a little bit of the raid, and just have like, the twist ending wasn't a twist ending because everyone saw it coming, and the other twist in the bus scene it was another twist that I saw coming, and the special effects were like, it wasn't just me, I wasn't the one. Like, nobody went, I'm shocked. Not a single gasp of shock was to be had. They just, okay. Going by the motions. I've got a chart. Checking them off. Surly Alien Loner, check. Sleeper Agent, check. Done that a lot. There was like 5 or 6 movies last year and early this year. Sleeper Agent stories. And including American Ultra. Actually, American Ultra is not that bad. Actually, it does have Kirsten Stewart, so there's a Twilight reference there. But let me be generous and say 1.5, 2 stars. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't 1 star.